When you start waking up, don't be surprised if some people get uncomfortable. Your calm will feel like a threat to those still ruled by the image of themselves. Your peace will feel like a judgment to those who live in chaos. Your authenticity will feel like an attack to those wearing a mask. It's not personal, it's the physics of consciousness. Light exposes what shadows hide. Stay with me, and I'll show you how to walk this path with compassion, boundaries, and zero drama. So what's actually happening here? Why does your decision to meditate, to speak your truth, or to simply find joy in small things suddenly make you difficult or weird to some people? It's called the mirror effect. Your light, your authenticity, acts as a mirror. And for someone who isn't ready or willing to look at their own unhealed parts, their own compromises, their own shadows, that mirror is painful. They aren't reacting to you. They are reacting to the reflection of themselves that you are inadvertently showing them. When you embody peace, you remind them of their own inner conflict. When you set a boundary, you remind them of all the times they let their own be crossed. This reaction can show up in a few predictable ways. This is the most common. They will accuse you of being the very thing they fear they are. They'll call you selfish for practicing self-care. They'll call you judgmental because your healthy choices make them feel judged. They are projecting their own insecurities onto you so they don't have to deal with them. Second, the threat to the ego's story. The ego loves its story. It loves its identity. We're the family that complains. We're the friends who party. We're the colleagues who gossip. When you stop participating, you break the unspoken agreement. You challenge the foundation of their identity. Your growth forces them to question their own stagnation. And the ego hates that. It will fight to pull you back down to where it feels comfortable. Third, the loss of control. People who are ruled by their egos often need to control their environment to feel safe. This includes controlling you. When you start awakening, you become less controllable. You no longer react to the same provocations. You don't get drawn into the same old dramas. This loss of energetic leverage over you can be deeply unsettling for them. They'll try to provoke you, to get a reaction, just to prove to themselves that they still can. Okay, so you understand the why. Now for the how. You cannot control their reaction, but you can and must control your response. This is how you protect your peace. I call it the 3 C's: compassion, clarity, and courage. 1. Compassion from a distance. This is not about being a doormat. This is about understanding. Hurt people hurt people. The person lashing out is in pain. Their ego is scared. See it for what it is, a spiritual growing pain. You don't have to absorb their pain, but you can understand it. Send them compassion energetically and then move on. Clarity in your boundaries. This is where compassion meets self-preservation. You must be crystal clear on what you will and will not accept. You don't need to jade, justify, argue, defend, or explain. A simple, I understand you see it differently, but this is my path is enough. Or, I'm not available for this conversation. Or, my favorite, a loving silence. You are not required to attend every argument you're invited to. Your boundary is your peace. 3. Courage to keep shining. This is the most important part. The ego's tactic is to make you doubt yourself, to make you think, maybe I am the problem. Maybe I should just go back to how I was. No, the world does not need you to dim your light to make others comfortable. The world needs your light. When your light irritates someone's ego, remember it's a sign that you're doing something right. You are holding a frequency of truth, and that frequency is powerful. It is not your job to fix them. It is not your job to save them. It is your job to be the light. Those who are ready will be inspired. Those who are not will be triggered. Walk your path with compassion, hold your boundaries with clarity, and have the courage to keep shining. Here's a fundamental truth. Spiritual awakening isn't about becoming special. That's just the ego trading in an old mask for a shinier, more spiritual one. Awakening is about becoming simple. It's about becoming real. It's the process of becoming less defended and more present. It's about having the courage to finally put down the heavy armor you've been carrying. But the ego, both ours and others, doesn't like simple. The ego survives on complexity. It needs tension to feel alive. It needs comparison to know its place. Am I better than? Am I worse than? And it needs masks to manage its image and hide its fears. The ego is a character, and it desperately needs a story to star in. So what happens when you stop playing the game? When you stop feeding the drama? When you put down your mask and just show up? The people who only knew your mask, the people whose own masks fit perfectly against yours, suddenly won't know how to relate to you. You've gone off script. And they will try, almost reflexively, to pull you back into that old script. They will hand you your old lines. They'll try to goad you into the same arguments. They'll use passive-aggressive comments to test your new calm. They'll bring up your past to remind you of the raw role you were supposed to play. They'll engage in status tests, trying to one-up you or put you down, just to get a reaction that proves the old you is still in there. And this is the part you must remember. Their reaction is about their identity's safety, not your worth. When you change, your newfound peace doesn't just feel calm to them, it feels silent. And in that silence, they are forced to hear their own noise. Your authenticity reveals the game. And to an ego that believes it is the character it's playing, that feels like a threat to its very survival. So, what are these internal shifts that cause such an external ripple? It's not like you've grown a second head. The changes are deep, subtle, and profoundly powerful. First, you notice you respond slower. That old knee-jerk defensive reaction just doesn't fire the same way. Someone says something provocative, and where you used to feel a jolt of anger or a spike of anxiety, now you just feel space, a quiet pause. And in that pause, you're able to listen deeper. You're no longer just hearing their words. You're sensing the need or the fear behind them. This alone is a complete pattern break for most human interactions. Second, your entire energetic economy changes. You no longer trade attention for approval. Think about how much of our old identity is built on that trade. We perform, we people please, we chameleon ourselves, all for a few crumbs of validation. When you start awakening, you stop being a beggar at that table. You can be silent in a group and feel whole. You can be misunderstood and feel at peace. Your validation is no longer up for public vote. It's sourced from within. But the most profound shift is this. You stop narrating yourself as a separate someone fighting the world and start feeling like life moving as you. That constant, anxious, chattering narrator in your head, the one that's always scoring, judging, fearing, and separating me from them, it begins to quiet down. The story of little me against the big world dissolves. In its place, you simply feel like an expression of life itself. You're not a wave fighting the ocean. You are the ocean, expressing itself as a wave for a little while. These shifts are quiet. There's no trophy, but they broadcast. You are sending out a completely new frequency, and people sense, on a deep subconscious level, what you no longer need. You no longer need their drama. You no longer need their approval. You no longer need to be right in an argument. And in that moment, egos lose their favorite hooks. All the old tools, guilt, flattery, provocation, shaming, they just slip. There's nothing to grab onto. And that is why your simple, quiet peace can feel so irritating to an identity built on noise. So, why does your inner peace cause so much outer noise? It really comes down to two things: the personal mirror and the system threat. First, at the most personal level, you've become a mirror. And mirrors are deeply uncomfortable for anyone who isn't ready to look. Your newfound peace doesn't just feel peaceful to them, it feels loud. It's a high-frequency silence that suddenly makes all their own internal static, their unhealed parts, and their secret compromises feel unbearable. They aren't lashing out at you. They are lashing out at the reflection. When they call you selfish for having boundaries, they're really saying, "Your boundaries remind me that I have none." When they call you boring for skipping the drama, they're really saying, "Your peace reminds me that I am addicted to chaos." It's an unconscious defense mechanism. They're trying to smash the mirror so they don't have to see themselves. Second, on a group level, you are disrupting the system. Think about it. Every family, every group of friends, every workplace is a small ecosystem. It stabilizes around a set of unwritten rules and predictable roles. There's the responsible one, the dramatic one, the peacemaker, the victim, the one who always needs help. These roles, even the toxic ones, are predictable. Everyone knows their lines, everyone knows the cues, and the play goes on. Then you come along, the peacemaker who suddenly sets a firm boundary, the victim who is now empowered and taking responsibility, the dramatic one who is now calm, reflective, and won't take the bait. You haven't just changed. You've rewritten the entire script without their permission. The rest of the cast is left on stage holding their old lines, and they feel confused and exposed. The system hates this. It will fight to pull you back into your old familiar box, because your evolution threatens its very foundation. So, they're not just reacting to your new habits. They're reacting to a fundamental threat to their personal reflection and their social reality. And that brings us to the third, purely transactional reason egos get irritated: the attention economy crash. In most social structures, the primary currency isn't money, it's attention. And this attention is bought and sold with very specific commodities: gossip, status games, shared outrage, and, most powerfully, conflict. The ego lives for this. It's a day trader in drama. I'll listen to your complaint if you'll validate my anger. I'll share this secret about them. And in return, you'll see me as valuable and in the know. When you start to awaken, you stop trading. You're no longer interested in buying what they're selling. Gossip comes your way and you just let it drop. Someone tries to pull you into a status game and you just don't play. The old currency in your presence suddenly loses all its value. And when you devalue an ego's main currency, the market panics. They're not just losing a participant, they're losing a key trading partner. It's an energetic bankruptcy for their story, and it feels like a personal offense. So what does this protest, this irritation, actually look like in your daily life? It's almost never a direct, honest conversation like, "Your newfound peace is making me feel insecure." The ego is far too defended for that. Instead, you must notice the defense mechanisms. They show up in 3 predictable ways: teasing and sarcasm. This is the most common first attempt. You'll get comments like, "Oh, look, Buddha has arrived." Or, "Are you too enlightened to hang out with us now?" This isn't friendly teasing. It's a social tool designed to belittle your change, to shrink it down to a silly, manageable size so they don't have to take it seriously. 2. Minimizing your path. This is when they try to invalidate your experience. It's just a phase. You're reading too many weird websites. You're just being naive. By minimizing your path, they protect their own. If your transformation is just a silly phase, they are safe, and they don't have to question their own life. 3. Baiting you into debates. This is the most aggressive tactic. They will actively try to bait you back into your old, reactive self. They'll bring up political topics they know used to trigger you. They'll push your buttons. They will try to pull you back into the mud of an argument. Why? To get a reaction. Any reaction. Because if they can make you angry, if they can make you defensive, it proves to them that the old you is still in there. It proves that they are still in control, and the stable, predictable world they knew is safe once again. When you see these, notice them clearly for what they are. They are not conscious attacks on your worth. They are the ego's automated defenses, all designed to protect one thing, its own identity story. Now, we have spent this entire time talking about other people's egos, but we have to be honest and address the final, and by far the most clever opponent on this path, our own. Let's be crystal clear about this. Your ego won't vanish. It negotiates. It doesn't die. It gets craftier. When it sees it can no longer hook you with the old, gross-level emotions of rage or victimhood, it tries a new, more sophisticated strategy. It tries to co-opt your awakening. It will try to turn your awakening into a new, superior identity. It wants to become the awakened one, or the healer, or the wise one. This is the most seductive trap on the spiritual path. It's just a shinier mask. It's your ego, but now it wears robes, quotes mystics, and speaks in a very, very calm voice. So how do you know you've been rehooked by this new spiritual ego? You'll feel it. You'll feel a subtle need to correct others. That little itch to jump into a conversation and fix their low vibrational perspective. You'll feel a need to convert them. You'll start needing your friends and family to wake up, not purely from a place of love, but because you need them to validate your newfound truth. And the most subtle one, you'll find yourself performing serenity. You'll be acting calm. You'll be using your non-reaction as a weapon, as a silent statement, to prove that you are more evolved than the person trying to provoke you. The moment you feel that tension, that need to prove your peace, that subtle feeling of superiority, you've been rehooked. The ego is back at the wheel, just wearing a new costume. When you notice this, don't judge yourself. That's just more ego. The solution is simple. Smile. Acknowledge its cleverness. Breathe. Drop back into your body, into this one real moment. Return to presence. Let go of the performance. Let go of the need to be right. Because the point isn't to win the spiritual game. The point is to be real. So you've recognized your own ego, and you've recognized theirs. You're in the moment. Someone is projecting onto you. They're teasing, they're minimizing, they're baiting. You can feel that old hook. How do you respond? Not with a performance of serenity, but with real, grounded presence. Here is your 5-step practice for walking calmly through the fire of projection. 1. Name it gently, internally. The moment you feel that spike of defensiveness, that heat, just pause and label it inside your own mind. No judgment. Just say, I see. This is ego anxiety. That's it. Maybe it's theirs. Maybe it's yours. By naming it gently, you separate yourself from the reaction. You become the witness of the energy, not its victim. You've just created a critical half-second of space, And in that space, you find your freedom. 2. Lower the volume, physically. The ego wants to fight. It feeds on high, fast, and loud energy. You must do the opposite. Lower the volume of your voice. Speak slower. Not slower as in condescending, but slower as in more deliberate. Shorten your explanations. The ego wants to pull you into a complex debate. Don't give it the material. Your presence communicates more than your proofs ever will. A calm presence is a full-body no to the drama, and it's far more powerful than a 10-minute argument. 3. Don't chase misunderstandings. They will misinterpret your words. Intentionally or not, they will twist what you say. Your old self will want to run after them, grab them, and shout, "No, that's not what I meant. You're not understanding me." You must let them go. Stop chasing. Clarity is an invitation you offer, not a demand you make. You can state your truth simply and once. You are not responsible for forcing them to accept it. To an ego looking for a fight, a misunderstanding is a weapon. Don't try to wrestle it from them. 4. Offer a grounded alternative. This is your constructive boundary. You're not shutting them down. You're inviting them to a healthier space. Use simple, non-blaming phrases. "I can see this is important to you, but I'm not available for this kind of conversation." Or, "I'm happy to talk about this, but we have to be able to speak to each other respectfully." My favorite, "We can talk when we're both more grounded." This takes the blame off and puts the focus on the energy itself. 5. Exit with love. And finally, sometimes the only answer is to remove yourself from the situation. This is not failure. This is not weakness. This is wisdom. Boundaries are deeply compassionate when they protect growth for everyone. You are not building a wall of anger. You are drawing a circle of peace around yourself. This protects your energy, and it also, in a way, protects them. It denies their ego the dramatic food it's craving, which is the only way it will ever learn to starve. You are lovingly, firmly refusing to participate in their self-harm and yours. This all comes together in one final, crucial practice. It is the most nuanced and important part of this journey. Compassion without enabling. We often confuse the two. We think being compassionate means being a doormat. We think it means we have to agree or absorb their projections, or let our boundaries be crossed in the name of love. That is not compassion. That is people-pleasing. True compassion isn't agreement. It is the clear-eyed, courageous understanding that their fear is real, but it is not yours. You can look at someone who is lashing out, and you can understand the deep ego anxiety driving them, and you can still say no to the behavior. You can honor their path. You can honor their timing and understand that they are just not ready to see what you see. And in the very same breath, you can honor your own path by continuing to walk forward. This is the hardest realization. You will find that some people only know how to relate to you through conflict. The drama, the gossip, the push and pull, the status games, that is the relationship. That is the only ring they know how to fight in. You must, with all the compassion in your heart, step out of the ring. You are not abandoning them. You are abandoning the fight. You are refusing to play a game where everyone, in the end, loses. In the end, you cannot convince an ego with logic. It isn't listening, so stop trying to teach with your words. Let your life be the teaching. Let your peace be the sermon. Let your grounded joy be the evidence. And then, let time be the translator. Maybe in a month, maybe in a year, maybe in a decade, they will see the fruits of your path and understand. Or maybe they won't. That is not your concern. Your job is not to win the argument. Your job is to be real. Walking this path can feel lonely at times. As you disconnect from the old drama-based relationships, there can be a space, a quiet void. You cannot and should not do this alone. The final piece of this is to actively seek out your new tribe. I call this the community for the awake. And I'm not talking about finding a guru or a group of perfectly enlightened people. Forget perfection. What you are looking for is one single quality. Find people who are committed to inner honesty. That's it. Not perfect people, honest people. People who are also tired of the masks. People who have the courage to say, "I got rehooked by my ego today," or "I'm feeling afraid," or "I was wrong." You'll know these spaces when you find them. The energy is completely different. They are spaces where silence isn't awkward. It's not an empty void that everyone rushes to fill with nervous chatter. It's a shared full presence. You can just be with each other, and it's enough. They are spaces where curiosity replaces certainty. The ego needs to be right. The soul is just curious. In these spaces, "I don't know" is a powerful and respected answer. Questions are more interesting than answers. And most importantly, they are spaces where feedback isn't an attack, but a mirror. Where someone can hold up a gentle mirror and say, "Hey, I noticed you got defensive when this was mentioned." And you can receive it as a gift of data, not as a judgment on your character. When you find a room like this, When you find a person like this, your body will tell you before your mind does. Your nervous system will recognize these rooms instantly. All that tension you've been carrying, all that subtle armor you've had to wear out in the world, it will just release. It feels like the first full deep breath you've taken in years. It feels like exhale. Seek that. You deserve it. Okay, so you're in the conversation. You feel the heat. You're being baited. Your heart is pounding. Your own spiritual ego or your old wounded ego is dying to jump in and defend itself. In this moment, you don't need a 10-minute meditation. You need an emergency reset. You can do this in 3 minutes. Or you can do this in 3 seconds in the pause while the other person is talking. It's a simple 3-step internal process. Step 1, feel the body. Right now, feel the soles of your feet on the floor. Feel the support of the chair or the ground at the base of your spine. Notice your breath. Don't change it. Just feel it enter and leave your body. This is your anchor. It yanks your awareness out of the spinning, theoretical drama in your head and slams it right back into the only thing that is real. This present moment. You are here. You are safe. Step 2, see the scene. Now widen your gaze. The ego gives you tunnel vision. All you can see is the threat, the other person's face, the argument. Actively soften your eyes. Look past them. Notice the light in the room. Hear the ambient sounds, the refrigerator humming, a car driving by. And most importantly, soften your jaw. We clench our jaw to brace for impact. Physically release it. This sends a direct signal to your nervous system that you are not in a life or death fight. You are just a body in a room listening. Step 3, release the role. This is the final internal click. The person in front of you is not talking to you. They are talking to a character, a ghost, the old you they're used to fighting with. You are being handed a costume and a script. You do not have to put them on. Silently say to yourself, I don't need to be anyone right now. I don't need to be the spiritual one. I don't need to be the angry one. I don't need to be the one who has it all figured out. I don't need to be anyone. And from this place, from this grounded, open, role-less presence, you return to the conversation. You are no longer a puppet in their play. You are just you. And you'll be amazed at the clarity and quiet strength that comes out of your mouth next, all because you took 3 seconds to come home to yourself. So you've done the work. You're staying grounded. You're holding compassion. You're setting boundaries. But the friction continues. This leads to the most difficult practical question on the path. Do I stay in this relationship or do I go? There is no single right answer, only an honest one. And it becomes clear when you look at the energy of the connection. Here is the guideline. You stay when the relationship can hold truth and repair. What does that mean? It means there's space for your growth, even if it's uncomfortable for them. It means you can have the hard, awkward, honest conversation, and the connection doesn't shatter. It means they are also willing, even if clumsily, to look in the mirror. In these relationships, the desire to stay connected is stronger than either person's need to be right. The container can stretch. This is a relationship worth investing in. And when do you go? You go, at least for now, when your peace becomes a constant target. This is when you realize it's not an accidental triggering anymore. They are actively trying to get a reaction. They are trying to defeat your calm. You feel like you're in a ring, constantly dodging hooks. You go when your growth becomes a joke, when you are consistently met with sarcasm, minimizing, and disrespect. You must be honest. If you are spending 90% of your energy with someone simply defending your right to be who you are, that is an energy leak your soul cannot afford. If you do choose to step away, you must reframe it in your mind. This is critical. Leaving isn't punishment. It's alignment. You are not slamming a door in anger. You are not a failure. You are not abandoning them. You are a chiropractor for your own soul. You are simply calmly moving yourself out of a position that is causing harm and back into alignment with your truth. You are protecting the new, vulnerable seedling of your growth from a freeway. It is an act of profound self-compassion, and by extension, it's compassionate to them, as it stops the painful cycle. Remember this, distance turns noise into information. When you're in the dynamic, it's all just chaos, emotion, and noise. You can't think clearly. When you create distance, whether it's for an hour, a month, or a year, the emotional static fades, and what's left is crystal clear information. You'll suddenly see the patterns. You'll understand the dynamic. And from that quiet, informed place, you can decide if the connection is worth re-entering, and on what new terms. So, if your awakening irritates egos, if your light, your peace, your simple, grounded presence makes someone uncomfortable, I want to leave you with this. Good. Good. It is the clearest sign you can get that you are no longer feeding the costume. You are no longer contributing your precious life force to a game that keeps everyone, including yourself, small and trapped in a role. Your path is not one of aggression, but it is one of non-compliance with illusion. It's a quiet, loving revolution of one. This is your only work. Keep choosing presence over performance. Keep choosing love over likability. Keep choosing your authentic truth over the temporary hollow comfort of tribal applause. Your authenticity is the gift. Your peace is the message. It's the medicine the world is starving for, even if it doesn't know how to ask for it yet. Thank you for walking this path with me today. If this resonated with you, if it felt like a mirror for your own journey, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. It truly is the best way to support this community. And now, I want to hear from you. This is our space. Share your experience in the comments below. Where did your peace meet the most resistance? And how did you respond? Your story is a roadmap for someone else who is just starting to navigate this. I'll see you in the next one. Until next time, Universal Consciousness, signing out.